Alright guys, welcome back. We're on the John Deere again. And I know in the previous video I said we had 2 tires that held air. Well, we have no tires that hold air. Flat, flat. Yeah, it's flat. Flat and obviously flat. So, what we're doing today, we're going to pull these tires off. And we got the 4 rear tubes here and the front tube here. So, let's get these aired up, pull it in the garage. Hello, kitty. And then we will yank these tires off, go over to the tire machine, and install some tubes. Alright, all the tires are pumped up. This will be a cold start, and we'll get it put in the shop. Alright, so here's the front tire, and I went ahead and opted for metal valve stems. They work better, they last longer, they hold up better. That's the way to go if you can get them. So that's the front tire. And then the 4 rear should be in this package. And these are metal stem as well. So, they look great. Let's get this thing jacked up and the wheels and tires off of it. Now, something neat about this, I don't know if you're supposed to do it this way, but this is the way I've done it. On the front axle here, I got the jack stands on those bearing supports. I mean, it holds the weight of the machine up to start with while it's rolling, so I don't know why you can't lift from there. But look, it balances. I got the jack back here. Look there. It balances that back and forth, and it's got the front end off the ground too. So there it is. Let it down just a little. See, it's like a seesaw right there on the front. And see, the front tire is off the ground, and these are off the ground. Now you do remember I said this thing was 4-wheel drive. Look at that. Ain't that wild? That's wild. I need to lift the bed and make sure the differential lock works. Let's do that. Maybe it's got enough fluid in there. We do have a hydraulic fluid leak I gotta dig into. Yeah, I don't think it's getting. Oh. Come on, baby. Come on, baby. Oh, it ain't gonna do it. Alright then. We'll lift it manually. Which they knew that was gonna happen because they already put a handle on there, and that's a factory handle. Oh man, that thing's heavy. Alright then. Okay, y'all can see all 4 back tires now. And you can tell that they don't quite keep up with one another. but then we hit their differential lock pedal. There it locks in, look there. So, our differential lock is still in operation, so that's a plus. All right, let's get these rear tires off. Okay, there they are. Had a little trouble with this front wheel here. It was a little rusty. Look at that. It's a little rusty. Hadn't had no grease in it in a while, but that's all right. It's no problem. We got it apart. And there's those. So let's get all these loaded up. And a little shop helper. And then we got some over here. Are y'all wanting food? I think they're hungry. Anyway, let's get these loaded up, get them over to the tire machine, and we'll get these beads broke, tubes put in, and I'm going to show you a trick. Some of you may know, some may not know, but there's a certain way them tubes have to go in. And I know you're thinking, oh, yeah, the tubes got to have a valve stem through the hole. Well, there's something else that makes life a little easier. All right, over here with the tire machine now. I know it's not a good shot, but I don't have a lot of room in here to work. But, well, let me just show you these tires. Other than the fact that they're dry rotted, I don't know if y'all can see all them little cracks. That's dry rot. And, you know, tires tend to do that whenever they get set out in the sun and stuff. See here. So, but look at the knobs on them. They still got the little hairs on some of them. Now that there's kind of wore down, but they're still there a little bit. Look there. So that, if these are the factory tires, I don't think this machine was used a lot. But they must have been replaced at some point, because that AMT 600 was made back in the late 80s. So they had to have been replaced at some point. Right now, I could buy all 5 of these tubes for cheaper than I could buy one of these tires. So rather than putting a ton of money into buying tires, we'll just stick these tubes in there. So I got the front tube there. There's the front wheel and tire. Let's start with it. Alright, first of all, you want to start by taking the valve stem out of your tire. And that's the valve stem tool. It's got a little slot there. Fits over the core in that valve stem. And you just take it out. Just like so. And that's letting the air out. And then we'll roll it up and use our bead breaker to break that bead. Just like that. Alright, once we get both sides broke down, bead broke on both sides. Alright, this is an 8-inch wheel. We set our stops at our 8-inch wheel diameter. Now granted, the stickers are about worn off, so it's hard to tell, but you get that set in there, and the wheel clamps, and we tighten this one in, and that'll hold it for us. Just like like so. See, now our wheel is held, but our tire is free of the wheel. So we want to pull this front side up over the wheel. We're not going to take a tire off, but we're going to pull it up so we can get the tube in. And we got to get rid of this, your old valve stem. And the trick to getting them off is having a sharp knife. Just like that. Cut them out of your way. And that's all trash now, so just throw that away. Alright. Now, and being this wheel has this arm up like that, go like it right there. Now you can put your tube in. Alright. Trick with the tube. I don't know if everybody knows this. I just learned this not too long ago. Maybe six months or so. See this blue stripe on here, guys? Alright. Blue stripe goes down. If you got your wheel on there with your valve stem up, whenever you go to put your tube in, now it's obvious here that this valve stem's got to be up, but this here goes down. That's a trick. And so before I learned that, I had probably put them in upside down, twisted this around to get that through the wheel, and then whenever I aired it up, I would end up breaking the stem off, and I never knew why, and it's because of that fact. So now you know. Alright, let's get that throwed in there. And see, being these are the metal valve stems, take your cap off, save it for later. Take that first nut off. And then go ahead and feed that valve stem through your hole in the wheel. Well, I'll take the second one off too, guys. Alright, now that you got both them nuts off, you got that little crush washer, take it off too. That way that wheel will lay flat against there, you put the washer on, and then the two nuts lock it together. Make sure your area there behind that wheel is good and clean, and it is for the most part. A little greasy, but it's alright. Get the tube in. Get the valve stem up through there. And just kind of center it up best you can. Put the washer on. And we'll just stick that first nut on for the time being. We'll get the second one once we get it aired up and all. This will just hold the valve stem in place while you're putting the tire back on the wheel. That way you're not trying to fight holding it on. It'll hold it for us. Now we can put the tire back down. So, got a little salve here. Tires back on. Loosen up your clamp here, because those little brackets actually hook into the wheel, and if you go to blowing this tube up and it pinches there, you could hurt the tire or not clench the bead back. So It looks like our beads are seated on both sides. And we got 10 PSI in that tire. I think we're good, guys. Put that on. Well, I dropped the other little nut. I'll find it here in a minute. But there we go. And for the rear wheels, it's the same process, just the only thing different is the wheel has got a hole like that. So once it's down like so, that's where this comes in. You feed that in there, and then this gives you your leverage point. All right, we got the front tire done. There's that nut. That second nut just locks it on so it doesn't, have a higher chance of vibrating loose. Whenever we get back over to the garage, we'll tighten them down. But anyway, these rear tires are just a little bit taller, but it's the same process. Take your caps off, take your core out, and then let the air out. And you gotta let the air out because that way your bead breaker is not trying to compress air along with the tire. And if it does break the bead loose, you go boo and scare you to death. But anyway, pull that in. And we'll break down this bead. Oh boy, come on. Come on. Well. There we go. I got so many air leaks on this system. The pressure's running wide open. About can't keep up. Both beads are broke. We'll put it up here on the wheel and clamp it down. And now these are 9-inch wheels. So we'll need to move our clamps out to accommodate a 9-inch diameter wheel. And that would consist of moving one bolt. That should be our 9-inch wheel. Oh, like a glove. All right. Let's cut our valve stem out. Once again, the sharp knife. Ooh, scratch the paint on the wheel. There we go. Now we can pull this side of the tire up over the wheel. And being, that front wheel had the post there, so this time we'll have to use this. That gives us a leverage point. Didn't have the wheel clamp tight enough, alright. Alright. Here we go. That is a big tire, ain't it? Got some trash in there. I'm gonna blow it out. All right. And these tubes are metal valve stems as well, with the blue ring, and the blue goes down. Let's put them things on there tight. Let me go get the right tool before I mess those up. Alright, just like before, put that tube inside the tire. Line up your valve stem. Spin down one of those lock nuts. And then put a little soak your water back on there. That way it makes it tire a little easier stretching back over. Flip your bar around. There we go. Alright, unclamp it. I know jig clamp it. Y'all know unclamp it? Yep. There you go. Like so. And we'll put some air in it. There we go. Looks like both of them are seated. Max PSI for the rear. Alright, it says don't exceed 25 PSI. We went to 10, so that's good. But max running pressure is 7 PSI. So let's get this thing back down to 7 here. And being, you know, this thing don't have no rear suspension, all your suspension is in these balloon tires. So the higher pressure you run, probably the more payload you can have, but it's going to ride rougher. So, and I don't need no more kidney stones jarred loose from rough rides. So, right there we go. We're at 7 PSI. And that's how you do these rears. So, I'm going to go out here and fix an air leak so the compressor will quit running so long. And then we'll probably just do a time-lapse montage of the other 3 rear. So, see y'all in a bit. Well, way to eliminate flat tires. Get you set of them Michelin wheels. Yeah, they're a little bit small. Here are all the tires with tubes in them now. Excuse me, kitty. But you can tell those are a little bit bigger and a lot cheaper than these. All right, here's our tires with tubes in them. Front tire, rear tires. Let's put them on. And there you have it, everyone. It's back down on the ground with tubes in all 5 tires. And so now I won't have to worry about it having flat tires whenever I go to get on it. So that's where we're at on the John Deere AMT 600 right now at the moment. Next will be brakes, of course. Still need brakes. I've been looking at the left-hand master cylinder with a lock-in parking brake. I just got to get my final measurements from here all the way down and back, so I make sure I get a long enough brake line, and then just kind of look at these calipers and make sure that we'll have to do a little fabrication, but it won't be nothing too bad. We'll just try to use the factory, where the factory's calipers here bolt up. That's welded in. We'll see if we can, might have to drill some new holes, but we'll try to get it to fit right there in them. And then we got a hydraulic lift right there. It is leaking fluid, so we'll have to dive into that and see where that's at. But that's where we're at, guys. So next video will be either fixing this hydraulic leak or putting brakes on. But at least we got tires that don't go flat now. That's always a plus. But as always, thank y'all for watching. See you later.